Wait a minute. MSTE went up more than 25% in 1 week? Wasn't this the ETF everyone was making fun of a few weeks ago? Now, if you've never heard of MSTE, don't worry. MSTE is the Harvest Strategy Enhanced High Income Shares ETF. Basically, it gives investors exposure to strategy, MSTR, but it's designed with a very different objective. MSTR is all about growth, while MSTE is trying to combine that growth potential with monthly income. Harvest uses leverage to increase its exposure to MSTR, while writing covered calls on part of the portfolio to generate income. They typically target around 33% covered, although it can range from 33% to 40% and go as high as 50%. By keeping it near 33%, roughly 67% of the portfolio remains uncapped, allowing it to fully participate in MSTR's upside. That income helps fund those big monthly distributions. But there's no free lunch. Covered calls can generate income, but they can also limit some of your upside when the underlying stock takes off. Which makes what happened this week even more interesting. We have a lot of reaction on Blossom. Okay, so what happened? Last Friday, August 14th, MSTE closed at $1.75. 1 week later, $2.20. That's a gain of 25.71% in just 1 week. But MSTE didn't suddenly wake up all by itself. To understand what happened, we have to follow the money. It starts with Bitcoin. From Friday, August 14th to Friday, August 21st, Bitcoin went from about $63,000 to more than $76,000. That's a gain of 21.30% in 1 week. And when Bitcoin moves like that, something else tends to get very interesting. Strategy. MSTR went from $93.04 to $119.25. That's 28.17%. Bitcoin went up 21% and MSTR went up 28%. And then there's MSTE, 25.71%. So this week, MSTE actually captured more than 91% of MSTR's upside. For an income ETF, that got my attention. But 1 week doesn't tell us the whole story. What happens if we go back 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or all the way back to when MSTE was launched?
Well, I'm being told we have to go to Toronto, where our correspondent is waiting for us with more details. Over to you.
Well, Andy, I already made an Excel spreadsheet.
Of course you did.
I compared Bitcoin, MSTR, and MSTE over 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and since MSTE was launched.
Over 1 month, Bitcoin gained 14.90%, while Grayscale BTC gains 18.33%. MSTR gained 21.91% on stockanalysis.com, and MSTE's share price gained 21.48% on total return, while we include the 10-cent distribution.
3 months tells a very different story. Bitcoin was almost flat. MSTR lost 27.66%. MSTE's share price lost 43.73%. Even after including 35 cents in distributions, the total return was still negative 34.78%.
Okay, suddenly that 25% rally doesn't look quite as magical. And if we go back approximately 6 months, BTC approximately plus 12.9%, while Grayscale BTC is plus 13.71%, MSTR minus 9%, MSTE with distributions, a total return of minus 16.36%. And since MSTE was launched, ouch. But wait, That's exactly the mistake we talked about before. MSTE is an income ETF. We can't look at the share price and pretend the distributions never existed.
Since launch,
MSTE has distributed approximately $6.22 per share. So if the distributions were taken in cash and not reinvested, the economic result is approximately negative 44.86%. Still ugly, but very different from negative 85%. So, did MSTE finally prove the critics wrong? No. But it didn't prove the income investors right either, because that's the wrong question. Bitcoin, MSTR, and MSTE are not trying to do the same thing. One gives you direct exposure to Bitcoin. One gives you leveraged corporate exposure to Bitcoin through strategy. And one is trying to turn some of MSTR's volatility into monthly income. The best investment isn't the one with the biggest number on the screen. It's the one that actually fits what you're trying to accomplish. And if you own an income ETF, never judge it by the share price alone, because the strategy is working when the underlying stock is going well. Look at the distributions. Look at total return. Look at what happened to your capital. And most importantly, understand what you bought. Because 25% in 1 week looks fantastic, until Sandeep opens his Excel.
I've got more tabs. Want to see them?
It's okay, buddy. Take care and see you soon. As I'm preparing this video on Sunday evening, Bitcoin is up, and MSTR is also trading higher in pre-market. Hopefully, MSTE will keep moving higher tomorrow, Monday, and throughout the coming week. Because if MSTE had stayed around $1.75, it was pretty clear that the excellent team of Michael Kovacs and Paul McDonald at Harvest ETFs would probably have had no choice but to reduce the distribution, possibly to around 7 cents. But hopefully the gains we've seen over the past week will allow them to maintain the distribution for the next ex-dividend date, August 31st. And remember, the payment date is September 4th. In the meantime, thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you'll know whenever I release a new video. Have a great evening, and I hope you'll join us again for the next episode. And if you're discovering the channel for the first time, take some time to watch each video in order. You'll get to see how the channel and the production have evolved from episode to episode, and don't miss the bloopers I've added along the way. Click the like button to help me. Share the channel with your friends. See you next time.